2001, when I was a teacher out in Vancouver, I attended an end-of-year gala where the theme was Arabian Nights. And I dressed up in an Aladdin costume and put makeup on. I shouldn't have done that. I should have known better, but I didn't. And I'm really sorry.
Do you think you should have done this? Would you have called for men to step down?
I think there are people who've made mistakes in this life, and you make decisions based on what they actually do, what they did, and on a case-by-case basis. I think I deeply regret that I did that. I should have known better, but I didn't.
How do you feel about this coming out right now in the campaign?
Obviously, I regret that I did it. It's not about timing. It's about having done something that I shouldn't have done, and I'm really sorry I did.
Have you done something like this, Mr. Trudeau? Is that the only time in your life you've ever done something like that?
When I was in high school, I dressed up at a talent show and sang Deo with makeup on.
Mr. Trudeau, what do you say to racialized Canadians who are likely going to be offended by seeing these photos and hearing about what you also did in high school?
I regret it deeply. I'm deeply sorry that I did that. I should have known better, but I didn't, and I did that, and I shouldn't have done that.
Why is this coming out now?
Listen, it was something that I shouldn't have done many years ago, and I recognize that I shouldn't have done it.
You resign. Many in the United States, when they've been discovered with these sorts of things, they are asked to resign. Have you given thought to resigning?
I take responsibility for my decision to do that. I shouldn't have done it. I should have known better. It was something that I didn't think was racist at the time, but now I recognize it was something racist to do, and I am deeply sorry.
The conservatives say you're not as advertised.
To Amarjeet Sohi, to Harjit Sajjan, if you have any words to say to some of your staff who may find this offensive.
I have made a number of calls to friends and colleagues tonight, and I will have many more colleagues, many more calls to make.
The conservatives say you're not as advertised. How can you look at Canadians and tell them that's not true?
I have worked all my life to try and create opportunities for people to fight against racism and intolerance, and I can just stand here and say that I made a mistake when I was younger, and I wish I hadn't. I should have known better then, but I didn't, and I did it, and I am deeply sorry for it.
Are you if your candidates had come out with one of these photos during the campaign, would an apology have been enough for you to allow them to stay?
We would make that decision on a case-by-case basis and look at all the factors involved, but I can't answer a hypothetical on that.
Why should you be allowed to stay?
I'm going to be asking Canadians to forgive me for what I did. I shouldn't have done that. I take responsibility for it. It was a dumb thing to do. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm pissed off at myself for having done it. I wish I hadn't done it, but I did it, and I apologize for it.
Does your team know about this?
For you to apologize for this, you've known that this happened a long time ago.
I've been forthright when this has come forward that it is something that I regret deeply having done.
So there is the confrontation of the media by Justin Trudeau, and I just wanted to make a few comments on it since this is still a pretty fresh scandal, I guess you could call it. Here are the images that Time published yesterday night, or at least that's when I discovered it last night on my cell phone. And here's the second image. So you saw there in that clipping, and I give credit to Time Magazine for uncovering it. Because as you see there, and I don't know how many of you were noticing that as well, is that during his apology, Trudeau seemed to be blowing off casually the press asking him to take responsibility, like the question about, oh, if somebody else had done it, would you give them another chance? And would you say, like, how is that taking responsibility? Are you planning to resign? And so on. And like, I think that's an appropriate question to ask. How exactly are you taking responsibility for your action? If you were, then there'd be some kind of penalty involved. Not, we're judging this on a case-by-case basis and there's nothing more to it. Essentially, so my case is unique, so I'm going to apologize to Canadians and that's going to have to be enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you read between the lines on his so-called apology to Canadians. That's, to me, seems very disingenuous. As that reporter stated, you know, she said, you know, you're not. He's not taking responsibility for what he's done. Now, here's the clip that came to me this morning in the news, and credit to Global News for it. So here he is. This is verified by the Liberal War Room that it is in fact Justin Trudeau. And you'll see here, I find these images very, very disturbing. So he's wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and apparently he's covered from head to toe in brownish black makeup. So I'm speechless. You'll see him here again. There he is. Michelle Rempel, I just watched a video from her, and she said that race is not a costume. And I think that Trudeau mentioned briefly that he dressed up as Aladdin, and he was covered in makeup. So I think Michelle Rempel actually put it forward best, is that race is not a costume. And I've seen controversy in cases that have happened in the past for, you know, even a Halloween costume that could be construed as racist. And for a prime minister who claims to be the champion of anti-racism, and you know, this is the absolute epitome of hypocrisy. You'll see him here. This one also, I really, pardon the camera movement. This one here, I don't know how these two gentlemen are not offended. They're posing with him, and what else can I say? It's not a laughing matter. And when you see that first video, you can see that he is blatantly making funny faces, laughing, jumping up and down, like a adolescent making fun, making games, a child, if you will. I'm just trying to point out that yesterday when he was on the airplane, and you can see his face sort of twitching when that reporter asked him if there were any other instances, and he more or less dodged the question and said, you know, I dressed up and sang Deo and I had makeup and a costume on, so on. And so here is the third piece of evidence, the third time that he is dressed up in black makeup and brownish black makeup, pardon me. And I think he has a wig on. This, according to Global News, is taking place close to... there are people in the background with life jackets on, so possibly like somewhere where they can go boating or so on. And as you saw, I may play the clip again for you. so it was confirmed that that's him. So again, credit to Global News for this video. So all I can say is, here is the third piece that he effectively denied yesterday. He didn't come forward with this one. So apparently, you know, the press will have to question him again today and ask him, why didn't you come forward about this video? My point is this. Trudeau has been lying about a great many things. The SNC scandal notwithstanding, he was lying about that. Jody Wilson-Raybould already proved it. And now he's lying about this. If Time magazine hadn't exposed it, because there was talk about, many people knew about this image, but I think that they were waiting for the right time to publish it, because in spite of SNC, Trudeau he's actually doing far better than I thought in terms of polls and so on, and the samples taken. And it looks like that he's tied with Andrew Scheer for the lead. So in spite of all the scandals and illegal activity, it seems not to have damaged his reputation as much as people think, and I think that's more the failure of Andrew Scheer and the dishonesty of the press. So this came out yesterday from Time, and this particular video is not from Time. I don't think so, anyhow. But the images that came from Time, that opened it up, that broke it wide open, and there's just no. A picture is worth 1,000 words. How much more is a video? So I would just like to bring to your attention, my fellow Canadians, that Trudeau is not a champion that can stand there and tell me he's anti-racist. No way. As Michelle Rempel put, race is not a costume. Something like this is extremely, extremely rude, racist, and hypocritical. And of course, he hadn't leaked it himself because he's trying to protect his reputation and so on. But you cannot be a champion of anti-racism and have behavior like that. No way. And so, really, I have to say, this should hurt you, my fellow Canadians. These images should really bother you, especially if you're thinking about voting for him. I don't presume to tell you how to vote, but I only ask that you take this into consideration. This is absolutely appalling behavior, and you can't really blame it on adolescence and naivete, because he was a school teacher during the capturing of these images. I don't know, how else to explain it. If you had good education, he's at least past university at that point. He was teaching in schools and so on. To have that license, at least, you have to be somewhat educated. And I would say that requires probably a degree. So an educated person should not be behaving like this. And I don't care what his reasons were. He's trying to pass it off as just a costume. I myself love Aladdin. It's a lovely movie and so on. The animation, it's a timeless classic, but I would never dress up with the paint in that manner. That's just absolutely... And, he's disingenuous because, you can see here, why would you paint completely in that way and pose with these gentlemen in this manner? I don't have to spell it for you. This is very insulting. And then to add more evidence, here he is jumping up and down, making laughing faces. You can see he doesn't take it seriously. He's making a joke to amuse himself and others. It's just absolutely horrendous behavior. he's supposed to act like an adult, and he doesn't. So this is our Prime Minister, and I am ashamed to call him a Prime Minister, to be honest with you. He's not Prime Minister material. No chance. I feel embarrassed and humiliated because well, he's tried to pass himself off as a champion of anti-racism, and this is just the most racist thing he's ever been exposed. It's absolutely horrendous, and we don't know if this is the last instance. We don't know if more will be exposed in the future. So all I can say is, please, my fellow Canadians, take this behavior into consideration, especially if you plan to vote for him. I don't presume to tell you how to vote, but please take this into consideration. I thank you for your time and attention, and I wish you a good day. Goodbye.